Hello and welcome back everyone to Warmachine Gaming. This is going to be a really short video. It's just kind of a quick little tutorial because some of you were wondering how when you play when you're actually playing, how does the combat system work and all that. And so I just kind of I couldn't really explain it over like a comment or anything very well without showing you guys. I wanted to show you guys, and I wanted to make a quick tutorial video for those who don't know or those who are new to Risk Europe and want to learn how the combat system works. I'm going to explain it to you really fast. Try to be under 5 minutes here. Okay, so anyways, first off, you have 4 main unit types. You have your footmen, okay? You have your archer, you have your cavalry, and you have your siege weapon here. Okay, so with that, so let me grab this. So with each individual unit, they have different kind of powers, I guess you could say. Anyways, this is like kind of the battle order. So first, like in a combat sequence, you would first attack. You would first roll with your siege weapon, then your archer, then your cavalry, and then footmen don't really have a special attack. They just kind of go and get roped into this final sequence, which is all units. So we're gonna run through it a little bit. So like, for instance, siege weapons get 2 dice per siege weapon. So if you had 2 siege weapons, you get 4 dice. Now most dice represent each individual unit. For instance, if you had, let's say, 5 archers, you would roll 5 dice for each of those archers. And so archers, they would have 1, they would have 1, and then the footmen is where it gets a little tricky because they get lumped into everybody. So anyways, so how it would work is basically, so first siege weapons would go, and you would have to get a 3, you would have to roll a 3 or more to score a hit or a kill. So basically, if I was rolling a siege weapon, see, I got both of them are above 3, so I would score 2 hits, and then then my enemy or my opponent would have to remove 2 of his guys of his choice. So when you remove guys, it's of the other person's choice, basically. Like, you don't get to decide who dies in his army, because that would be unfair, right? And then like archers, so you'd remove all the casualties that the siege weapons inflicted, then move on to the archers, which have a 5 or more rating, and each one gets like, so for instance, I have 1 archer here, so I would roll 1 dice, and I wouldn't get the hit. So we would move on, basically. If it's not 5 or more, it doesn't count, basically. It's thrown out. Unless you have a castle in which you can re-roll a certain sequence, but I'll get to that in a minute. And then cavalry, you'd remove any archer casualties that were like inflicted, and then you get onto cavalry, same as the siege unit except less dice, and then remove all the casualties, and then go into all units. Now that's a separate type of attack sequence. Now that works is so let's say this is the defending force and this is the attacking force, right? So this is where it gets into normal risk type of rolling. So this force would get 3 dice because they have 3 or more soldiers on this side, right? And they're the attacking force. And these guys are defending. So they have at least 2 or more. And so they get 2 dice. And you can't go above that many dice. For instance, if they had 1, then you just remove it, and there you go. You only get 1 dice. If they have 2, you'd remove 1. If they had 1, there you go, And so, basically, let's just do a quick roll here. So attackers get, and then you count the top 2. The top 2 here. So the highest of theirs is 4. The second highest is a 2. And the third highest is a 1. So that one doesn't really count, basically. And then defenders roll, they get 2 1s. And so thus, the attackers would score 2 hits because both of their dice defeated their dice. But to go again, to get a better example, you got 2 3s are the highest and a 1, and then you got a 4 and a 2. Okay, so in this situation, the attackers would score 1 hit with this dice, and the defenders would score a hit with this dice because it's higher than 3. Now, let's say that the attackers rolled a 4. wherever the 4 is, then the defenders win all ties. I'm hoping this is making sense so far. Give me some feedback so that if it doesn't make sense, I can make another video trying to make more sense of it. Now, what I mentioned in terms of castles, that is a completely kind of where it gets a little complicated, in the sense that castles allow you to re-roll any rank in a sequence of a battle, right? And only for defenders. So, like, if these guys were the defenders and they had a castle, they would be the only ones who could do that. Attackers could not do that. Attackers can never do that, I should say. But, so let's say, you're rolling, and let's say he rolls his siege weapon. Oh, he doesn't like that roll because he only got 1 hit. So he can choose to re-roll, and he'd only got 1 hit again. But he could choose to re-roll both dice in order to try and get a better shot, basically. And then you wouldn't be able to do it until the sequence is run its course, and then once it started again, you can do it again. Now, in Risk Europe, when you attack, you can't retreat. You cannot retreat. And now, I think I'll do this in a different video. If you guys want to know more on how to play Risk Europe, I will explain in a different video how you invade, how you use your cards, and all of that. If you guys want to see that, let me know if you guys want to see that. But anyways, I was going to say, let's run through a mini little battle. I've got some troopers here. Let's run through a little mini simulation so you can kind of see it in action a little bit. So orange currently has 1 archer, 3 cavalry, and a siege weapon, and a lot of footmen. And purple over here has, you see, 2 archers, 2 cavalry, and a large amount of footmen as well. And we'll make orange the aggressor, so he'll be the attacker, and we'll make purple the defender. So first, in this sequence, orange is going to get his siege weapon roll first. So he's going to roll that. He needs a 3 or higher. He gets 2 5s, thus he gets 2 hits. So purple has to remove 2 guys of his choice. Naturally, you're going to want to remove your footman first, because otherwise, I mean, it's just kind of like, you should remove your footmen first, because they are worth less and they don't get any extra hits other than like an archer or something. Then you would go on to archers. So orange has 1 archer, and you roll these simultaneously. He gets 1 hit because he got a 5. They need a 5 or more. Purple gets nothing from his, so orange would get 1 hit, and purple would remove a guy. And then you keep going. So then now on to the cavalry. So orange has 3 cavalry, right? 3 or more to get a hit. He gets 2 hits. And purple has cavalry as well, and he gets 1 hit. So orange would have to remove 1 of his. Purple would remove 2 more. And thus then it would go into this normal combat sequence. So orange would get 3 because he has 3 or more troopers. And purple would get 2 because he has 2 or more troopers. And so then they roll. Orange's highest rolls are a 4 and a 4. Purple's highest rolls are a 6 and a 6, so he will score 2 hits. There you go. And then the sequence starts over again until the battle is won. So we're going to continue to play it out, but it continues until at least one side has lost all of its soldiers, because there is no retreating in Risk Europe. It's kind of harsh, but that's how it goes. Anyway, so then it starts over. So basically, orange. So then it starts over. So orange basically gets his siege weapon roll, gets nothing. And so then they move on to the archer roll. Orange gets nothing with that. Purple gets hit with that because he got a 6. And that's above 5. So orange will take a guy out. Then the cavalry, purple's cavalry gets 2 hits because it's above 3. You need 3 or more. See? And orange gets 2 hits as well. So now he's out of footmen, and he needs to remove another trooper. I choose to kind of go with archers, depending on what you have. I mean, it depends on what you've got. In your army, I always tend to choose siege weapons to go last, because they're the most valuable, and they're the most expensive as well. Different units have different costs as well. We'll go into that later if you guys want me to make more tutorials on this. So then now we go into the all units phase, I think, because we took the cavalry, right? Yep. And so purple will get 2, orange will still get 3. They roll, orange gets a 4 and a 2, and purple gets a 4 and a 1. So that's a hit to, yeah, that's a hit to both sides. So purple wins the 4 tie, because defender wins all ties, and orange will win the 1. So he'll take the archer out. And so then we start over again. So then orange rolls his siege weapon, he gets a hit, and he takes away one of the cavalry. And then the archer roll, and he didn't get anything. So then the cavalry roll for orange, 3 6s. That's a hit on all things, and 5. So he takes one out, and he takes one out, and thus orange would win this this victory. So I mean, let me know, guys, if that made sense to you on the combat sequence. I would be more than happy to explain it over again, or do a full-on tutorial on how to play Risk Europe. Because I mean, a lot of people come to watch my videos, and they ask, and they're like, you kind of taught me how to play Risk Europe, or you know, how do you do this one thing, or something like that. So yeah, just let me know, guys, on what if you want me to do some more tutorials while we're still playing the game. I'm more than happy to do it. More than happy to clear up some questions that I can, and also feel free to comment on what you guys maybe do differently than me, or maybe you have a correction for me. I'm more than happy to take helpful criticism. But anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this helped you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. And I will see you in the next video. Peace.